Hey guys, in this clip we pulled from one of our coaching calls, I just wanted to demonstrate a point and some of the things that we're seeing with new recruits to our program is that they're coming from some of our competitors' programs. And it's interesting that in joining that they're seeking more substance, they're seeking clarity. They're looking for more detail. I think this line of questioning here and really what we uncover speaks to these points. And what you have to understand is here at Ion, you're really getting a look under the hood of how this business actually works, from the products to the various forms of funding, to the mindset, to the nuance that you'll encounter. It's very important to go where you're going to learn from people who are actively making money doing what it is they're teaching you, not somebody just providing a blueprint to you. If you look at a big shiny advertisement, you think that's the place to be because there's a lot of money behind it. Beware. You need to be at a place where you're going to learn really the bones of how the business works and how to be part of that space before you try and create your own business. So for anybody watching this who's maybe in the lending space and you're trying to build a brokerage, stop. You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. You need to learn how to be a broker before you can build a brokerage. You need to learn all the various forms of funding and products. You need to learn how to be a proper salesperson, how to market, how to handle phone calls, all of these things. This is the most important part of your education as a broker. The blueprint programs and all the stuff out there where it looks like the shiny new toy and avoid that. Avoid that. Don't try and build your own brokerage. It doesn't work like that. You don't build if you want to be a doctor, you don't build the practice and buy up all the equipment and buy and build the building and buy up all the pharmaceuticals and stock the shelves and hire all these people without actually going to medical school, do you? Of course not. You'd just be doomed to fail, right? It's the same thing here, right? So if you're looking for substance, if you're looking to succeed, if you want to understand what it really is to be a broker, join Ion Capital Solutions and avoid these blueprint programs. They do not work. Anyway, enjoy the rest of the video. Thanks. Again, make sense?
Yes. So if they have existing equipment, how much can you loan against that on a wholesale price?
Got
Who
it.
knows?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like Terry, you act. I mean, in all due respect, you ask questions before the horse. It's like when someone has a thing. Think about this: if someone has equipment, it's going to be a fire sale. Do I know the value of that? No, it's going to have to be looked up at. So you're spending too much time on hypotheticals and not actual activity. Talk to people, gather information, and then we gather more information to get a quote. Your random questions are just a little bit too random. You're all over the place. You need to really dive in and focus on what you want to go after. Start having conversations, and then you'll start feeling more comfortable. You're trying to eat a whole onion at the same time, opposed to pulling back a layer as you approach something.
Well, Christopher, listen, every week on a Tuesday, we have talks with different lenders, and they bring up these various issues of what they're lending against, what kind of criteria, and that's just why I'm just backing up your lenders compared to those lenders.
Okay, fair enough. Now, let me ask you, Terry, what is the, I do have Christopher makes great points there. But what Christopher's trying to do, Terry, is help you find fundable deals so that you can make money and less on hypothetical conversations because there's no monetary value there. Now, it's interesting, the point that you just brought up. Every Tuesday, you're having these reviews with lenders that are outside of our network. And so I want to ask you, what is the purpose of those calls? And why are you trying to compare them to our lender network? What's your goal here?
Well, just learning. Learning what's out in the market too.
Are you trying to establish your own lender network, Terry?
Well, you have to understand, I went through CCTG. It's a training
Uh-huh.
company, and that's what I started with.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but they didn't go into detail like you guys in the trenches.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm supposed to be on these calls too, so that's
Mm-hmm.
where I have additional learning.
Absolutely. Makes sense. So I can certainly appreciate you wanting to take on this information. What I will do is caution you, and this is really where Christopher is coming from, is there's a very deep rabbit hole you can go down when you look at each product and then what every single lender out there is going to offer and the nuance and all these things. As a broker, there's you have to deal in volume to do well and make money. But
Sure.
the most important skill you can have as a loan broker, whether it's business funding, real estate investment funding, is being able to cut through the crap, basically, right? And be able to identify the gold in the mud, right? If we're sifting through the mud looking for the gold, you've got to be able to quickly identify that. But if you focus on all the other things, you will never get to that gold. And so the way things work here at Ion, and really what separates us from other programs, and really as brokers independently, what separates us from brokers who don't make money, is our ability to sift through that mud and find the gold, right? And so we can be sharp at times, right, and blunt and straightforward, but I promise it's in an effort to make sure that you do well and you make money. So what you need to do, Terry, is get deals. You learn the nuance through your deals, right? So you're interested about equipment financing, go find businesses that want equipment financing. There's going to be nuance surrounding each of those deals. Some are going to want to purchase new equipment. Others are going to want to use existing equipment. You're going to have farms. You're going to have metal engineering businesses. You're gonna have all kinds, and through those opportunities, you're gonna learn what you can do, what you can't do, what you want to go for, what you want to stay away from, and this is going to help you understand where the money is in that space. And it can change at times depending on what the market looks like, right? Lenders are always changing up their guidelines, initially, especially in equipment financing, if it's, let's say, they're trying to use the asset, right? So it comes to whether or not, for instance, if it's a farmer and he's trying to use a high-end, newer tractor, right, to acquire funding, he wants to use that money or that asset as collateral. It comes down to, for the lender and the associated reseller, can they resell that tractor? Does it have value? Would it be easy enough for them to sell that in the case of default to get their money back? If not, the lender's not interested. And that's nuance, because you could have one lender who's got a connection to make that happen. You have another who doesn't. And you just don't know without digging in, and that could change. So rather than try and set, because you could literally set up the ultimate grid of every lender nationwide and what they can do and what they can't do, and then it changes next month or next quarter. And so where's the monetary value in that? There is none, right? And so instead, what you want to do is focus in on the deals and see what you can get done today. And through that experience, you will learn. Through that experience, you will accrue that knowledge. But make no mistake about it, it's deal by deal by deal. It's as you make money. Right? And through those war stories, through those scars you develop, that's what's going to turn you into a broker. Collecting all the bits of information and trying to figure out what every lender does, it will not. You'll just get lost in the sea of information. Make sense, Terry?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Got it.
And you know what? Let me back that up too, Ryan, because when I first started, I didn't know anything about real estate, and I didn't know anything about anything. And it's not until I went through each situation and I learned through that situation, okay, wow, well, why did this happen? Or why did this happen with this deal? Or why is this happening? And no matter how much you study a matrix, no matter how much you study whatever, it's those experiences, because it's the little things in each single deal will make it a little bit different. Maybe it's the finances of a company. Maybe it's the equipment for this. Maybe it's the industry that they're in. Maybe it's, who knows? It doesn't even matter. Maybe it's a crazy thing like when Corona happened, which totally flipped everybody upside down and everybody got super tight with their restrictions or risk. And it could be anything. But the biggest thing is that I learned is no matter what, as much as I wanted to understand the products, I had to still get those applications in, because through that repetition and putting myself out there, That's really is how I was learning and making myself better. And if I didn't put myself through those situations, I would have still understood nothing. But when you put yourself through many of those situations over and over again, you will then become the expert just through those particular situations, because you know what's going on, and you become you could speak like the lender or like the loan officer, because you know what they know now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And beware, Terry, beware of the best product, quote unquote, the best pricing, quote unquote, right? Everybody's in pursuit of that. You're never going to talk to a lender or a salesperson who's going to say, oh, my product's okay. It's not as good as the others, right? Everybody's product is the best, right? And so you go down a deep, deep rabbit hole in that regard, right? At the end of the day, as salespeople, and you know this to be true, Terry, right? We're selling ourselves. We're not selling a product, right? And so it really just comes down to, are you in front of people? You know, are you talking to them about offering solutions to their business? Do they like you? Do they trust you? Do they want to work with you? Do you understand their current situation and plight? Do they feel that you can take their business to the next level? That's where your attention of detail should be. You know, and then what kind of data are you collecting based on that? How can you improve, right? The lenders, you know, we can always get another lender. We have like 100 lenders in our network. Every single one of them are replaceable in a moment, right? Don't even worry about the lender, right? Worry about yourself, you know? So anyway, that should be some good food for you to chew on, Terry. Terry, let's get some applications this week, all right? Focus in, get some applications in. Don't get stuck in one sector. Go after real estate. Try and go after equipment finance. Look for businesses that want a term loan or cash advance. My advice to you would be to start with fix and flip, just bread and butter real estate investment funding. Very easy to come by. You can quickly get some deals going, get some stuff cooking. Let's get you on the board. Let's get you your money back for the tuition you spent. Let's start hitting that profit zone, right? And thinking about what your ROI looks like at the end of the fiscal year, right?
Right.
Terrific. All right,
Okay.
Terry. Looking forward to catching up with you.
Okay, sure. Thanks, Ryan.
You got it. Absolutely.